The mind is an incredibly powerful thing. With it, mankind can solve complex problems, turn abstract ideas into life-enhancing reality, and ultimately shape our own destiny. The intricacies of the human mind are what separate us from the rest of the animal kingdom. With even the most intelligent life forms on our planet lagging behind us developmentally. But it's not flawless, far from it. The consciousness being housed in an organ, it's like the rest of them. It's susceptible to damage and disease. Our needs and desires can override our logic and perceptions. And one of the biggest environmental factors, our requirement to fit in and belong, means that even when in crowds, the collective perception of reality and reason can be flawed. The science around mass delusions is in no way settled. All we know is that they happen. And when they pass, we are left with two different sets of questions. To the unaffected outsiders, they ask the whys and hows, so distant that they are bewildered at the actions of the group. To those who are affected by such incidents, their prevailing sense is one of, what was all that about? Wondering how it felt so real at the time, and now it seems so stupid in hindsight. There have been some notable examples of mass delusions down the years. What about the case of the Liverpool leprechauns? Maybe some of you have heard about this. In 1964, thousands of children and some adults ventured into Liverpool's Jubilee Park, completely certain that they would find leprechauns. The hunt started in June, and by July the 2nd, police wearing crash helmets were set up in the park to protect people from each other. The danger of injury was so great that a temporary medical shelter was set up in the park. The leprechaun hunt spread to the St. Chad's churchyard before it finally died down. One claimant to the start of the panic was a woman who said she had seen weird flying objects overhead in Liverpool City, and they had come from the direction of Ireland and had brought leprechauns with them. Another, possibly a man named Brian Jones, who was gardening in his distinctly leprechaun-like clothes when a batch of children called him a leprechaun. Jones began yelling gibberish and throwing turf, and this added fuel to the rumors. Now let's talk about the Edison star sighting. Between March and April of 1897, there was a strange panic that gripped the United States. Thousands of people seeing what they started calling the Edison star, a giant apparatus supposedly created by Thomas Edison in an attempt to reflect light from one coast to the other. Others thought he was preparing his largest project to date, a giant light bulb capable of illuminating the whole country. But neither was true. And that didn't stop thousands of sightings from being reported across the country. Residents of Portland, Maine talked about the electric balloons over the town for days, and another rash of sightings gripped St. Paul in Minnesota. The rumors had started with just one of Edison's Menlo Park experiments, where he sent balloons into the sky as part of his work with the wireless telegraph. Getting better results at night, he attached a light to each balloon, and the nation's imagination did the rest. Windshields. You see them in cars. How could this be a cause for panic? Well, the windshield pitting epidemic in California, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Oregon, Wisconsin, and Washington began in 1954. A number of car windshields examined by law enforcement had been pitted by an unknown force. Most other outdoor surfaces were completely unaffected, but thousands of people were suddenly scrambling to explain what was going on. Top secret nuclear testing was what they arrived at, and it was blamed for this unexplained damage, and rumors began to circulate that the pits were caused by the fallout from nearby H-bombs. Some weighed in with more complicated theories, like the idea that nuclear bombs had been set off underwater and had thrown billions of tiny marine creatures into the air, and the impact of their fall pitted the windshields. Others claimed that acid-laced bugs were eroding the glass on impact, and reports gradually slowed and stopped completely by the end of the summer, with no one any the wiser as to what had happened. And then, of course, the most famous example, The War of the Worlds radio show with Orson Welles. The most famous radio broadcast in history. Orson Welles, sure you've heard of him, went on the radio to do a play, a monologue about an alien invasion. And people heard it, and people listened. And those who tuned in partway through weren't aware that it was just theatre. And thus, they became convinced that we were in the grips of an alien invasion. People started to panic. People started to rant, rave, claimed that they had seen aliens. People started to stock up on supplies, try and leave the towns. Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria. Now, in a technological era, you would think that these instances would be in decline. While still rare, the advent of the internet and the ready availability of recording devices have done little to stop the occasional outbreak of mass delusion. In short, we're as susceptible as we ever were. But there had never truly been an episode of mass delusion in gaming or esports. Not until October 14th, 2019, when a convergence of events led up to our first genuine outbreak. Paranoia, psychosis, Overwatch. Let's do the stream. All right, guys. A little bit of a different way to start the stream. I am aghast at what I have to talk to you about today. I can't even believe it's real. So, over the past 2 days, I have become the epicenter of an outbreak of mass psychosis, of actual genuine mass delusion. And I'm going to explain how this started. You probably won't believe it. This all came about because I blocked 140 people on Twitter. It's many more now. But because I blocked 140 people on Twitter, I actually I looked at the metadata. Had it not been for the Democratic primaries and the Riot Games announcement yesterday, I would have legitimately trended on Twitter. Legitimately. Not fake trends for you, for your friends. Actual thousands and thousands of tweets about me. Blocking people on Twitter. And rumors and lies and madness. And let me tell you how crazy it's got. And I'll be doing a stream about this tomorrow. So, threats. Obviously. People are right now trying to hack emails and log into things. My Twitter account has been, definitely a target, let's say. Blackmail. Multiple instances of that. It's truly incredible. It is truly incredible. So we'll talk about all of that tomorrow. But let's start right at the beginning. So I have a cup of coffee from Denny's, who totally do not sponsor this stream, because I think it's important that you guys have a little bit of context. Like, how do we get to this point of absolute madness? And it's a very, very good question. So, I want to say a week or two ago, there was a journalist called Ashley Kang, and she was complaining about, the relationship she has to have with Reddit moderators, and that they were now removing a subreddit dedicated to debating why they removed things from the main subreddit and how disappointed she was in it. And I tweeted at her saying, yeah, but you've kind of been complicit because you agreed to work with those fucks, and you've bowed and you've scraped and you've been in the DMs. Instead of just saying, fuck you, if you want to censor me, do it. But I'm not going to make you feel important, which has always been my stance, which is why I'm universally loathed by Reddit mods, because it is an illusion of status. It's not real. You're just a fucking incel in a basement with Reddit permissions. That's all you are. You are not better than the people that create the content you moderate. Quite the inverse. You are glorified janitors, and that's always been my position. Glorified janitors do not get editorial input into journalism. That's ridiculous. But Ashley Kang seemed to want to, kind of play along with them and be nice, and then acted surprised when they were absolute cunts. Almost as if there was a journalist out there that could have told you just could have told you what these people were like. So anyway, what I did was I pointed this out on Twitter because I believed that Twitter was sort of a place where, with your mutuals, you could express opinions, and that was the great thing about the platform. I'm always told about how, don't block people. Don't go in an echo chamber. All of this, nonsense. When we're literally talking about, trolls and morons. But with my peers, at least, I want to have some dissenting opinion. So I tweeted this at her, and she got unbelievably upset because obviously, because you're not allowed to criticize female journalists. Evidently, it makes you a chauvinist. We'll get to that in a point. Me treating people as equals actually makes me a sexist. We've kind of gone a little bit crazy on that one, but whatever. There's not really a lot I can do about that. And as a result, even though she's mostly a League of Legends journalist, there was a lot of Overwatch fans that's decided to stan her, I believe is what the kids say. So I started getting, abusive messages on Twitter from Overwatch fans, right? And I don't know why, but there was a deployment of these people. They literally came out en masse, on command. Which is funny because I'm always told I shouldn't tweet at people, because I have a big following. Yet it's weird. I never see my community do it at all. I see plenty of people do it to me. I see plenty of people from other communities attacking me and making up lies about me and spamming me and trying to hack me and trying to dox me and threatening me. I never see my community do it to anybody, yet I'm not allowed to tweet responses, apparently. So anyway, I won't bore you with those tweets because they were just, fuck you, you hate women. Obviously, I've made the foolish error of not infantilizing my female colleagues and criticizing them on their merits. So yes, you're absolutely right. I must be misogynist. I must be. So what then happened was, because this rippled out, because what I've hopefully demonstrated down the years is, this is by design, by the way. There is a higher saturation of crazy people in the Overwatch community than any other gaming community, except maybe the FGC. And you will see, as we go through this stream, there is a huge overlap between those two groups. It's nothing compared to League. It's nothing compared to Call of Duty. It's nothing compared to Counter-Strike. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. And the craziest community, the one that is the most abusive, deranged, unhinged, unquestionably is Overwatch. And as I said, it is by design. Because what they've done is they've reached out to the people who have issues and said, listen, you can't play the video games. The internet's a terrible, wild, bad place for you guys. You need to be in our game. This is where you have a home here. We'll look after you here, right? And as a result, that concentration of the wildest motherfuckers on the internet has gravitated towards Overwatch. And then what happens? Same thing we saw happen in the FGC. They become so over-invested in the community aspect of the game. They become like another fandom, like the Star Wars fans that cry every time there's a trailer, you know, and threaten actors and actresses on the internet because they don't like roles that they played, and you're ruining my movie. Funny thing is, every other fandom will decry every other fandom and say how bad they are. Oh god, look at those man children over in Star Wars. Now let me fucking post K-pop gifs on obituaries saying he wouldn't have died if he'd stand Luna. You see, the reality is these people are unhinged and they don't have anything else besides the community. So they are terrified of anything that threatens it and takes it away. So they become very vitriolic, very defensive. They believe that almost like their existential being is under threat by anybody who criticizes it. So what then started happening was I got sent some tweets where basically a bunch of players, low-level players, and we're going to start getting to the pathology of the average, you know, low-level Overwatch player and all the things that they have in common. They started creating alt accounts to spam threats to me on, right? Like actual, and the thing is, I know these death threats aren't like real, but we don't live in a world anymore where you can tweet at somebody, "I'm outside your house with a machete," and there not be consequences. And my problem here was, what I should have done was I should have reported it to the police. But when I found out who was behind the accounts, and we are talking 13 to 17-year-olds, I don't want to fuck up their whole life over a bad joke. But I'm the bad guy. But understand, because I've dealt with this many, many times before, if you send a threat like that on the internet, it is a federal crime. It's that simple. You know, it will be investigated. It will, you know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, does anybody not understand that now? That the idea of this anonymous internet where you can throw threats out and go, yeah, but it's meaningless, isn't it? It doesn't exist anymore, if it ever did. So I'll show you the first instance. Here it is. So, you can see here, this is my original tweet saying it must be nice to have an army of mental defectives to come out and support any criticism of you, even when it's only pointing out clear hypocrisy, because these are the people that were criticizing me off the Ashley Kang tweets. Then you can see, you know, this here from Pupilius Bartholomew the Sixth, one of many alt accounts created by some low-level throwaway Overwatch player. Look outside your window. I'm there. Notice the machete in my hands. So at this point, you know, I said, listen, dude, like, it's a bad joke. Don't do it. You'll get into trouble. Like, I do generally report threats, like, to the authorities. And he laughed it off. And I still didn't. He tweeted at me more saying, oh, just want to help with the gardening. What did you think? Good theory. But you see, on another account, what they sent me threats in my DMs. I'll show you an example. I didn't get them all because what happened was that the accounts got banned very quickly. But here's another one. Hey, bitch, you want to keep talking? I have people. They watch you. You will not be able to do what you do anymore if you keep fucking with my friends. Sleep with your eyes open. So this was just one of many tweets and many DMs that came my way. Remember, here's what I've done at this point. I have criticized somebody for working with the Reddit mods in the suppression of you know, journalism on the subreddit. I mean, I don't really think that is a cause to be trying to intimidate me and threatening to murder me. Anyway, what happened off the back of this was, because they weren't just content with sending me threats, these Overwatch players got all their names, real names, everything. They decided to then spam my Twitter using all of their alts, possibly even bots, and they spammed hundreds of my tweets. They spammed hundreds of my tweets because, for those who don't know, have never been reported on Twitter, when a tweet is specifically reported, it says you should delete these. So I had dozens of tweets being reported in a short period of time, which led to me getting locked out of my Twitter account. So again, I was locked out of my Twitter account for what should have been 48 hours, but I refused to bend the knee and admit I'd done anything wrong, because insulting people on Twitter is not against TOS. And that was what they had reported. I went through the appeals process, didn't get anything, and in the end had to delete large swathes of tweets just to be able to log back into my account. Now, again, I think the problem you've got with deleting tweets is when you're a journalist, there's like a public record there. Not everything that goes out on my Twitter is journalism, but I do think when journalists go back and basically alter history by deleting things they've tweeted, I think it's irresponsible for somebody in that role. But I've had to do it now because it was the only way I could get back into my account. Now, keep in mind also, on the same day, I was getting spammed by Greyhound fans. Because Greyhound had won a game. And this triggered just an unbelievable, probably compounded the reports I was getting. I could show you some of the DMs I got, usual stuff. I couldn't even sit and watch the game. People were like spamming me on Twitch, saying they were going to hack my emails, things like this. Because I'm not even allowed to sit in a channel and watch a game of Counter-Strike anymore. I'm not allowed to do that because, hey, you're a public figure, so it's just how it is. But I won't bore you with that because we need to focus on Overwatch. So anyway, I get back into my account, and I keep in mind I've spent a week off. I've been talking to people, using my contacts in the Overwatch scene just to find out who these people are, why they're doing it. They're all kids, I don't think a single one of them is 18. So I'm like, can't really just fucking clap back on them and go fucking crazy because they're children. So what can I do? Well, I'm left with very few options, aren't I? My options are to block them on Twitter so they cannot mass report me again. You see, you have to understand, they didn't hide that they did this. This is not, Richard's theory crafting, Richard's paranoid. They admitted they were doing it. You can see here, I think this might be about my alt account, Poop406 Rip, where I told him I was outside with a machete and was going to help with his gardening. So they admitted that they were responsible for it, and I wasn't going to have my account compromised again with another mass flagging operation. When you block people, they cannot report your tweets. Or it's a lot harder to, because you can't just click a button and do it. You have to go and fill in a form. Right? So these guys were laughing and joking on their Discord about how they were going to do it again. They were spamming at me on an esports team account saying, lights out, you're not prepared, just wait. And they basically contrived to shut down my Twitter. So when I came back, I basically said, look, these aren't important people. They're not prominent. They're just kids. And like every Overwatch kid, they've all got the same shit going on. You'll see this thousands of times probably in the next hour. But they're all the same. They're all like, they all have these bios that like say, flex DPS 4,600 peak MMR. And they have a little cartoon banner, right, where it's like their name, like fucking Pratt, and then a picture of like Winston from Overwatch, and then they link to a Twitch channel that no one's watching. They're so desperate to be somebody, they're so desperate to matter, that basically they all kind of, they all get together and they all fall into their little groups and they're like, look what I did. I got Richard suspended for 48 hours. And it's all they have. It's all they have because they're kids and they're emotionally stunted kids. So I came back and I basically had mapped out all of the people who were responsible for the mass reporting, for the threats, who all their mutuals were. And I went through and I blocked 140 people. It was about that, because you have to, I can't give you an accurate number, because you have to take into account their mutual followers, the overlap. Maybe it's 200. I don't know. But it was anybody who followed them, anybody who had interacted with them in relation to threatening to report my account, death threats, etc. And funnily enough, a few people did get caught up in it, because some actual pros, some commentators, some community commentators followed these guys, probably don't know what they like to do in their spare time. So they got blocked, right? Now, that's just collateral damage. You can't really do anything about that. I'm sorry you follow actual pieces of shit. But that's just, what am I going to do? Like, the choice is lose a Twitter account I've spent 10 years building up, or block some fucking morons. It's not even a choice for me. So, what do you think happens next? This is where the mass hysteria part comes in. I am going to have to scroll through so many tweets just to get to the patient zero of this. I don't even think you're prepared to see how crazy this is. So this is what happens when you search for Richard Lewis on Twitter right now. And if there's a way that I can actually zoom in, that'd be fucking awesome. Can we do that? We probably can. But I'm too dumb to figure it out right now, and this stream will take forever. Right, guys, buckle up. This is all the tweets about me in the last probably 36 hours. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think that works in XSplit. You have to do it manually. There's like a thing for it. Whatever. Right, just buckle up. Just buckle up. Oh, wait, are you saying plus? Nah, that doesn't work either, kids. Right. Okay. We are now at 14 hours. We are now at 14 hours ago. We keep right. Okay, we're now up to 17 hours. $20 hours. $22 hours. Okay, this is at a full 24 hours ago. Let's keep going. Nope, still going. Okay. This is where it begins. Now tell me this isn't mass psychosis. Tell me this isn't mass psychosis. So, what started it was the guy that had created an alt account to say he was at my house with a machete, which, funnily enough, by the way, the last person to get harassed this much on the internet got a book deal and was allowed to speak at the UN. I await my invitation. But the guy that had set up an alt account to say they were outside my house with a machete then said, hey, yo, if you're blocked by Richard Lewis, I'm sorry. I think he set up an auto blocker Still, though, he contacted authorities 2 weeks ago, something I said just to try and make them sort of have some perception about what they're doing and what the consequences of this could be. And here I am, still vibing. And this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with children that are encouraged and egged on by a community that has a high saturation of mental illness, and you just have to you either do something that is devastatingly, disproportionate, or you have to take it on the chin and have them mock you and deride you. There is no middle ground, unfortunately. It's either report him to the police for basically making threats via an electronic device, as I said, a federal crime, or just have to sort of take it on the chin. But apparently I'm thin-skinned, you see. So anyway, he pointed that out. And then slowly but surely, wait, why am I blocked by Richard Lewis? And then he tweets again. So with everyone being blocked by Richard Lewis, less than 200 people at this point, all of his mutuals, all of his associates. Keep in mind, the worst thing I think I ever did was unblock everybody. I purged my block list and had about 50 people blocked at this time. I should never purge the block list. It was a good, solid 3,000 people. It was like that scene in Ghostbusters where they shut down the reactor and all of the evil gets back out into the world, undoing all of the great work that the Ghostbusters had done. I shouldn't have let them shut down the reactor because I got triggered over fucking Reddit people going, hey, I'm blocked by him, every time By the Numbers gets put on the subreddit. So, that was my first mistake, thinking these people can be reasoned with. No, block, move on, every time. But regardless, he said, with everyone being blocked by Richard Lewis, I'm pretty sure he blocks anyone who follows someone who's blocked. I was manually blocked, and I'm pretty sure it spread from there. Again, the methodology is very simple. If you followed this guy or any of the other guys involved in the mass flagging of my Twitter account, you got blocked. That's all there is to it. You're going to see how quickly the hysteria spreads, and it is insane what some of the allegations are. If you're not blocked by Richard Lewis, you're a beta. Joining the club of being blocked by Richard Lewis just for being involved in Overwatch Esports. Not true. I'm devastated. Also, who the fuck is Richard Lewis? About to add blocked by Richard Lewis to my resume. It's good you're blocked by Richard Lewis anyway. Everyone that is now following me is now blocked by Richard Lewis, but who cares? Right? Then you've got, we'll come to this crazy individual much, much later. Richard Lewis finally blocked me. She's had me blocked for a year. No, nearly 2 years, because since the Boston Major. She's a journalist who's been in a downward career path for a while. Used to be at Polygon. Now she works for a site called Fanbyte. I don't even know what the fuck they are. And has just been tweeting about how I get on my stories because I'm white. I don't know how that works. I've been recognized by my peers. My work is terrible. She's better than me. I'm a mediocre man failing upwards. She has just been on this tear about this. And here's what it boils down to. I used to be friends. Well, not friends. That's overselling it. But any woman in the space, in particular, but any person trying to get into esports, I will always extend a hand, especially to journalists and broadcast talent, because that's my field of expertise. And if I can help, I will. And even though I knew she was down with all that identity politics nonsense, I did, try and help her out. But then what I found out was she had been, I saw those tweets she'd made about me and was obviously pissed off. And then also as well, that there was her talking about this hit piece that went out that led me to believe she was involved in messaging the person who wrote that 2016 hit piece when I won Journalist of the Year. So she's always denied that, by the way. So, and maybe I'm wrong. But I saw DMs that led me to believe otherwise, which definitely weren't fake. So, whatever. Anyway, we'll get back to that. So you can see that people start to talk about everyone getting blocked by Richard Lewis. Proud to announce I'm blocked by Richard Lewis. Glad to be formally accepted into the Overwatch community. Richard Lewis this is where the narrative starts to get crafted. So Richard Lewis is blocking all prominent Overwatch players. All prominent Overwatch players. Right? What is prominent about these plebs? I'll show you some of the accounts. They're literally identical, all the same. It's always like, let me see if I can find an example for you. There you go. Contenders Flex Player for Triumph Gaming, HTP. There's the little cartoon banner. They're all like this. They're all kids that are like this, and they think they're going to make it in a game where, I was talking about this on the Overwatch Pro Discord the other day because they thought it would be funny to spam me and summon me so they could laugh about how I'm blocking people I'm objectively not blocking. And I basically said to them, like, all you teenagers that think you're going to make it in Overwatch, playing for these shitty amateur teams for $50 prize money, enjoy. Blizzard doesn't give a fuck about the grassroots. That's that. They don't give a fuck. So you either get good enough to make it, and better have never said anything on your Twitter, or you're not going to be allowed to play, or you're wasting your life. You're wasting your youth, your best years. So, just pointing that out, guys. You can say, Richard, you're molding. And it's like, no, dudes, this is reality. This is reality knocking on the fucking door. Guys, stop. Like, this is not the esport to commit to on an amateur level. Just saying. So anyway, you'll notice a lot of accounts like this. But this is where the narrative begins, that I'm blocking everyone in Overwatch. Now, but at this point, remember, it's still contained to about 200 people. I haven't blocked a single prominent player, a single pro player in the league, not a single coach, not a single team owner, people who actually matter. But you can imagine what starts happening. So I'm going to, I'll keep scrolling. Good morning to the Blocked by Richard Lewis community. Somewhere in Blizzard HQ, someone is asking, who the fuck is Richard Lewis? Let me tell you, they know who I am. I mean, they wouldn't be, trying to intimidate, people that publish my work. They wouldn't have blocked my website from the Overwatch arena. They IP blocked my website from the Overwatch arena. They know who I am. I'm a thorn in Blizzard's side. So trust me, they know. Why these people are bringing up as well, I've been blocked for a year. I've been blocked for 6 months. Cool story. Not really relevant to what's going on, but this is the thing. These people are so busted and broken down and just have their, it's Overwatch. Look, the characters are just like me. They just get sucked into it all, that they just have to belong. They just have to be part of the happening. Right? It doesn't matter none of it's true. It doesn't matter that it's objectively false. So, this is Richard Lewis being racist to the Minion community. This person is just deeply damaged. She's been tweeting about me for ages. She calls me the ego with a Twitter account. I think she's crafted me into being a Trumpian figure in her mind. She has lied about me on multiple occasions on Twitter. So she obviously is 100% in. Then people just start saying, blocked by Richard Lewis, blocked by Richard Lewis. Blocked by Richard Lewis, been blocked since April. Cool. What did Richard Lewis do? Why is everyone getting blocked? Richard Lewis is blocking all the Overwatch players. Hey, I play Overwatch. Will he block me too? This is the thing. The ego with the Twitter account, Richard Lewis, Esports Journalist of the Year 2016. The one who would indirectly harass anyone who disagrees or criticize him. Yeah, I'm definitely the big harasser in this scenario. Went on a blocking spree this weekend. I was deemed worthy of the block. I'm so pleased right now. These people have fulfilled happy lives. There's no doubt about it, guys. Fulfilled happy lives. They're blocked by me. It has made their life, but they can't stop talking about me blocking them, apparently. Okay, no problem. Why did Richard Lewis block everyone? Again, it's still, at this point, 200 people. So anyway, let's keep scrolling up, and you know, there's some good ones. Like, I blocked Richard Lewis before he could block me. I'm cooler than y'all. Richard Lewis really blocked all of the Overwatch community. What commitment. And what you probably should see is what was going on. There'll be some scrolling involved. Let's start with this. I mean, just insane crackpot theories start cropping up. So this was one such theory. I don't even know how you get to this conclusion. This is from somebody that has tweeted lying about me in the past. Another person who has basically used their... oh, hang on. That's gone back because I had to try and move it. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Somebody who has used their platform and their connections to basically lie, label me as a misogynist. This theory is just, it's fucking bananas. So, can I not move that without you fucking closing that window, please? You fucking outrageous piece of shit exploit. All right, last time, we're just, wherever it lands, we're just doing it. So, given the number of people now reporting being blocked by Lewis, I'm sure we're being blockchained for something, and I'm sure it's people who are not right-wing or are SJWs or whatever. So, the theory now becomes, I'm not just blocking all of the Overwatch community. I am not just blocking all 200 accounts. I'm not just blocking all of the Overwatch community. I am now part of a shadowy cabal of anti-SJW figureheads in gaming that has created a block bot to block anyone who isn't right-wing. And they're sure of it. Sure of it. Sure. 100% certainty that is what must have happened. Right? They talk about how they were in like a blockchain before, and then they go, this will be a good time to suss things out. So that was a theory that was being propagated. That somehow me and all the other dude bros or whatever they fucking think I am, you know, again, member of the LGBT community, you know, trans rights advocate, you know, I'm so fucking right wing. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. You know, what I'm doing is I got together with all the other, hey, CEO of racism, yeah, you know what's really going to own the liberals? You know all the people that have us blocked anyway because they use block bots? Let's block bot them back. And we created the probably not right-wing block bot and used it. And they're sure of it because it definitely really happened and isn't part of a mass psychosis outbreak in gaming and esports. Not to worry. Uh-oh. Right. Hang on. I want to bring up this other thing that I tweeted out. What the fuck is going on there? Okay. So, the next theory that came around was that I was blocking women. That I just decided out of the blue to block women. That I just woke up one day and said, hey, you know what would make my timeline better if there was just no women on it. So this was this is a journalist who actually, funnily enough, praised her work when she was the only journalist that sort of seemed to understand the Ellie thing was fake. This is Jay Costello. Are Lewis being so horrified by women in esports that he's blocked them all on Twitter is honestly extremely funny. One of the worst things anyone ever written about me is when he said he respected me, So, again, I don't understand the misogynistic charge. It's very clear that we're ideologically different in a lot of ways, but I can still respect you and respect your work. The worst thing anyone's ever written about me is when he said he respected me, so I'm very relieved he has changed his mind. Then, when I tweeted this out, it became, y'all, he isn't specifically blocking women. It was a joke, but it was funny because he is absolutely incredibly sexist. Thank you. So that was the next theory that came out. So people started talking about Richard Lewis is just a woman hater. He's incredible. He's blocking women on the page. That's what's really going on. It's not just a block bot. It's a group of people kind of come together that hate women, and we're blocking them all. Anyway, sorry, there's going to be some scrolling again. So I'll skip ahead in the timeline, because what then started happening was people started tweeting about this idea that I was blocking everyone in the Overwatch scene, that basically anybody who had... Okay, so some of the theories that got espoused: I blocked anyone with the letter OW in their username, which would be terrible for people called Owen that wanted to follow my work. So there was that. Not to mention the word follow itself has OW right there. So that's interesting. But yeah, they started creating this theory that I was blocking anyone with Overwatch. And they were all trying to figure out what had happened. So they were all basically peddling theories as truth. So I'm going to show you this guy. This guy's probably a good example for somebody who is incredibly mentally ill. And again, if you ever want to just use an example of people who are, deranged in the Overwatch scene, that guy's pretty good. So yeah, people were like saying, oh, he's blocking everyone with Overwatch in the name, blocking anyone with an Overwatch team in the name. People then started tweeting at me. We'll get to the tweets at me in a minute. So now you can see why it's expanded from 200 to probably about 4,000, right, as of today. You'll be able to see why. But basically, people then started saying, well, listen, it's not just Overwatch, it's the FGC as well. So, of course, you see, something's happening with Richard Lewis. So the FGC can't let that one slide. They can't let that one slide. The FGC, again, the original collection of mentally ill people who literally told me if I went to a gaming event in Atlanta where I lived, they would beat me up or shoot me on sight. The head of corporate security at Turner told me not to go. People said they were going to smuggle in weapons to the studio and light me up. People to this day make tweets saying, yeah, I confronted him and threatened him. I was going to let his bullshit. None of that ever happened because I had a bodyguard detail for an entire year because of you crazy fucking losers. And let's be clear what my crime was again. My crime to drive the FGC crazy was to not be in the FGC. So when I sat down with the execs at Turner, we were talking about what games we'd like to do next, and I said, hey, you know what would be good? I started in the FGC. The first ever esports event I went to was FGC. It'd be great to go full circle. We got good relations with Capcom. Why don't we do Street Fighter? I went out, picked all the talent, Tasty Steve, Say Jam, Rip, Z, all the fucking, legendary boys. And my crime for putting the fighting games on television, essentially, and being a part of that was death threats. And people spamming my employers saying I was a racist, I was anti-Semitic, and that they need to be fired immediately. So the FGC couldn't let it slide. That I was basically being hated on by a very disturbed community. They're like, that's our shtick. Mentally ill people harassing Richard Lewis online for using Twitter's functionality to stop his account being banned? Absolutely not. We must get involved with that. We must fucking we can't let these Overwatch losers, have all the fun. We got to get involved. So I don't even know where the point where it changed is. But basically, there's somewhere along here where the FGC start getting involved, and the story becomes not that I blocked all the women, because I'm sure the majority of people will block the men. Not that I'm part of a right-wing cabal to stop social justice discourse on Twitter. Not that I'm blocking everyone in Overwatch on the basis of 200 accounts, and now about 4,000. It now becomes, it was the FGC all along. I had to block the Overwatch community to get to the FGC. That was what it was really all about. So let me just see if I can find where the shift begins. Also, I should also add the worst. We're going to come at the end. The literal worst thing that got said will end on that. So I'm saving it. So people still spamming me here. People going crazy here. Right. This guy, Spooderpie, he sent me probably about 100 DMs of like just stupid memes, and then started spamming me this. Just take a look. Look into the mind of somebody. Haha, it's just memes. This is your life. Like, you're actually taking time to do this. Like, this is all the same account. All the same account. Not one response from me. So, just in case anybody ever asks as well, why do you block these people? Because they don't stop. They just clog up your timeline. This is the shit they do. You see, they have nothing. So it's like, how do you win in that like game of chicken where it's like, I actually have shit to do, you don't. I actually have an account to lose. That's because that's worth keeping. You don't. How do I not swerve first? So you can see here, more stuff. Commit self-deleters. You drop this. Again, not one reply from me. Haven't even blocked the guy. So, you'll see lots of tweets at me as well saying, "Hey, I want to fit in. Will you block me? I feel left out. Block me." It's like, okay, guys. There was some interesting ones. A couple of groups of mentals, obviously from like one Discord or something. They decided to tweet a dancing minion at me to get blocked. That was what they were doing. That was what they decided would be a good way to get blocked. So there was about, maybe 20 of these, maybe a dozen, I don't know. So I need to find the bit where they start saying he's blocking all the FGC. That's what it really is. And as I said, not replied to any of these people. None of these people are blocked. I mean, that's the other component I guess we need to talk about. When I say sure, it's a funny intro that I just did. This is a genuine outbreak of mass psychosis. Like 100%. I'm not even kidding. Because imagine typing, why are you blocking everyone who plays Overwatch? When you yourself play Overwatch, you yourself are not blocked. And for that to happen, observably, thousands of times. At what point do you question the narrative you've concocted in your mind? At what point would you say, oh, wait a minute, no, he hasn't blocked everyone because he hasn't blocked me. I've got Overwatch in my bio. He hasn't blocked me. Maybe if I just go about my day and don't think too much about what Richard Lewis does with his Twitter account, I'll be happier, and not get blocked. But instead, this is what they do. They tweet at you, block me, and then they tweet about how they've been blocked so they can fit in with the other losers that were complaining about being blocked. So you can see this one. Also, just a reminder, we'll get to Any Key. We're going to get to them. Any Key, an organization that pledges to be against harassment, advocating for me to be harassed. No joke. No joke. Any Key, partnered with Twitch. Some of you might even have the Any Key free emote logo. I can see one or two people with it. Any Key actually advocated for journalists to lie about me in public and dogpile me, and turned around and said that actually I'm just making it worse by replying, so I should just shut the fuck up and let them smear me publicly. And Any Key representative said that publicly. Because I'm not the right, I'm not the right kind. You don't protect people like me. You don't protect people like me on the internet, do you? You're not interested in that. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. You are mom. Good one. Bitch. Clowns. Block me, son. Why you so angry? Don't know who that is. An official incel account tweeted at me. that was an eye-opener. I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. An official incel account tweeted at me. That is involuntary celibate incels. The CEO of incels actually tweeted at me. I just can't. I can't. I fucking can't. Anyway. Keep going. Block me. Do you play Overwatch? Block me. You are cringe. Tweets at me again. Two Punch Man. Here we go. I'm a proud member of the FGC. Hand over that block, bozo. I don't even think about you guys. Seriously. The theory that gets put out, and you'll see some of this in the tweets, is that I came to the FGC to make money. I walked away from some of the biggest esports in the world to get into the FGC because there's just so much money there, which is why all your players sleep five to a hotel room, because there's just so much money in your fucking pathetic excuse for an esport. I just don't even understand it. The idea that there's any money in the FGC, when you literally are just a bunch of fucking smelly weebs playing in locals, ruining your pros, the pros that you have, ruining their lives essentially by refusing to allow for just the occasional invite only tournament with maybe an open qualifier. Too radical. No, I must lose heavily to the greats, so I can say, sorry I wasted your time. Because you fucking hate yourselves. And you think I want to get into that? You think there's money in that? I hosted the most watched CS tournament ever. It broke Twitch records. You think I want to come from that? Full stadiums, thousands of people cheering. Fan signings. 1.3 million people watching me host an iconic esports moment when Cloud9 win the Boston Major. Do you think the FGC standing next to you with your fucking stank and your funk and hey look, our Lord and Savior, a furry just fucking got here at your shitty local events in a fucking warehouse or a bar where you're huddled around one monitor? You think I want to come to that to make money? You fucking lunatics. You're fucking crazy. There's just nothing that... And have I not proven it? Did I not walk away from a 6-figure salary job because I just couldn't be bothered with y'all anymore? They just walked away from it. 6 figures because I can walk into another 6-figure job. A better job. Anytime I want, I can do whatever I want. Right? So I walked away from it. And for the past, what's it been, 2 fucking years? You haven't stopped talking about the evils of Richard Lewis. But I'm the obsessed one. I'm out of your scene, guys. It's not even worth my time. It never was, really. When it was on TV, and I thought you might not go full fucking incel and let us do something cool with it, it was good then. You know? And hilarious as well. Just to fucking, you know, because everything is fucking wrong with the existence. That when that asteroid missed, I was depressed for a week. Right? NetherRealm Studios was saying they didn't want me on a fucking broadcast because I'd said to people saying Tasty Steve shouldn't be allowed to comment, that one of the best commentators, hands down in esports, and instead we should have got fucking salt and pepper or ketchup and mustard or the condiment bros or whatever the fuck they're called. And anybody who doesn't respect Tasty Steve's a piece of shit. You know, stood up for my people. NetherRealm Studios tried to pull me off a broadcast. Have you seen the reports about NetherRealm Studios? You don't even provide disabled toilets, and you're fucking worried about me being a bad guy? When you actually oppress your fucking employees, get your shit in order before you judge the horrors of Richard Lewis. It's outrageous. That's the FGC in a nutshell. All out there drugging each other, you know, hey, let's come to Evo. Giving each other measles because you're deranged anti-vaxxers as well, apparently. They had to fumigate Evo because of yous. And you're in the news roofing motherfuckers and covering it up. But Richard Lewis is fucking Voldemort. Oh, my Lord. You couldn't make this up. You couldn't make it up. They did. They had to fumigate it, mate. They had to warn guests at the fucking Luxor. Hey, you might have caught measles because we had the FGC all up in this bitch. Like, guys, trust me, hand on heart. I do not want to be involved with a scene where I might die of a treatable illness. It's okay. Like, you have it, okay? You can have that. You can actually have the measles, gang. I'm all right with it. Like, Jesus Christ. It's like the fucking Oregon Trail all up in this bitch. Motherfuckers dying of dysentery mid-tournament. I can't deal with you people that you think I would want to get involved with that. Like, fuck. Are you real? All right, anyway. So, let me, oh yeah, this was another one. I was blocking all the journalists now. I don't know what to say to that. Fair dues, I guess. Oh, more Overwatch stuff. Stop blocking the Overwatch and League community. Oh, wait till you see the games this spreads out to, guys. This mass psychosis. Wait till you see the games it spreads out to. Wait till you see. So we got FGC all up in there. I'm blocking all the FGC. I'm blocking all the Overwatch. I mean, you know, not a single pro do I follow. I'm not in the professional Discord with all the pros or anything. I don't want to, you know, I'm just shutting it all out. Now, League gets in the mix. Now I'm blocking the entire League scene. On it goes. People boomer, blocking clowns. Can I get a block? The dancing minions recurring. This was a good one. This is a pretty funny fucking exchange, honestly. I feel like if I open this though, we're gonna have to like scroll back down. I reckon I can do it pretty quickly. Fuck it. So, This was one. So they brought up an old thread. This is another seriously ill guy, like John Huandu or whatever the fuck he's called. Been tweeting about me solidly for years, ever since I did E-League. Him and this guy called Ian Walker, like really deeply disturbed people. I mean, seriously deeply disturbed. Even have secret codes they use to talk about me and stuff. Can't just like, you know, again, just move on with their lives. This guy is unbelievably disturbed. Probably like actually dangerous. Honestly, with the things that he says and the things he encourages and the things he threatens, it's like, it's unbelievable how mentally he is. But anyway, so they bring up something from 2018, and you can see here, could be Overwatch based. He called the Overwatch scene toxic and shitty and pulled a Pikachu face when people snap back at him. Never did that, of course. Like, just never did that. Never objectively did that. I showed you guys how it started, right? I mean, you guys can see for yourself. The receipts are there. I didn't call the... I mean, it turns out I wouldn't use shitty and toxic. You're just you're deranged. You're ill. A large portion of you were seriously ill, as evidenced by this. So I said, when did any of this happen? Spoiler, it only occurred in your mind. I'm sorry they're getting laughed out at the FGC for so completely misunderstanding the culture that you should seek refunds for any business classes you took in college has addled your short-term memory, but you were literally talking about it in retweets today. Wasn't. By laughed out the FGC, you mean I ran a year of TV shows that revolved around the FGC, and when I was the host, but quit because people threatened to shoot me if I attended anymore. That is absolutely what happened. So instead of reporting them to the police, you caved to words on a screen. And I went, no, we did report them. It's interesting, isn't it, guys? Because when I tweet at people and say, hey, you're lying about me, can you stop that? I'm harassing people. But if somebody says, I'm going to bring a gun to an event and fucking kill you, it's just words on a screen, Rich. What's wrong with you? Why don't you just want to eat death threat after death threat every day and chance one of these people who we can clearly see are all seriously mentally ill, just chance one of them actually doing it? Because that's literally what I should have to do. The double standard is beyond a joke. And you can't win, because for all they talk about, oh, the internet's like a terrible place for women, the internet's a terrible place for minorities, the internet can just be a terrible place for anyone who's targeted, full stop. And you don't need a qualifier. And by doing that, it's super reductive to even begin to talk about the problems. Like, because I'm a big fucking burly guy, you know, I'm 240 fucking pounds, used to play rugby, used to box, it's just got to roll off me, like like just bugs on a windshield. I just got to fucking take that, death threats and all. But if I dare tweet at anybody, I got a fucking problem. So anyway, so that was another outlandish theory. There was also something where she claimed I had created an alt to make a Reddit post about Sonic Fox. Like, again, the mythology around me in the FGC is unreal. Like, the loader thing is one thing. Like, oh, you hell in a cell and you fucking choked out the 13-year-old lesbian, whatever they're saying about me. But like, wait till you see this. This is just unreal. Oh god! All right, here. So, for some reason, she brought up Sonic Fox because Sonic Fox had tweeted about how I'm alt-right or something in that fucking thread in 2018, and she goes, "You still quit." Couple of mean words were enough to make you quit. Yeah, just the mean words, not people sending me photographs of them holding guns, saying when and things like this. But if you want to get back in, Sonic Fox is in this thread, the public face of DBFZ, MK and Injustice. Maybe you can beg him for help. I'm just a filthy, unwashed weeb after all. I bet Fox at least showers. Now, for anybody who knows, internet legend, there's a Reddit thread. Now, this gets bandied around every time Sonic Fox comes up, right? It's just one of those internet fucking memes, and you can go find it, right? And I made a throwaway to talk about Sonic Fox. It's 2 years ago, and it basically says that his fursuit smells. That's what it says. His fur, it's on r/Kappa on a throwaway, so you don't even need to look at that. So anyway, I joked and said, Reddit says different. And then, I'm glad you spent the time making a throwaway account to insult someone who succeeds by actually, winning things rather than just vomiting into a mic. So what I did was, to win this argument here and now in October of 2019, I went back to like 2017 in my fucking time machine. I keep just off camera. And I went back there, created this Reddit thread of something that's actually been talked about in the FGC regardless before that Reddit thread even existed, and made that thread, came back to the present and went, you just got fucking owned, bitch. You just got fucking owned. I just slapping you with fucking Reddit joke. And it's a joke, you know. I've met the dude. I don't think he didn't smell when, you know, maybe my, you know, nose doesn't work as well as everyone else's, but I was all right with it. Anyway. So, right, let's just get to the tweeting at me. So which bit do I want? Oh yeah. We'll do that in a sec. I'll just show you. Breaking. The psychosis continues, guys. It's not going anywhere. This one's a classic. This is somebody that, again, has lied about me publicly, being a Nazi or right-wing or whatever fantasy they've concocted in their mind. Here's Richard giving his fans a literal name search link so they can harass people on his behalf. No, what? As if none of you could figure out to type Richard Lewis into that fucking search bar. As if nobody, like, you need the link. You need to be fed it to me. And me saying, hey, guys, have a look how fucking many tweets were made about me in the last 24 hours is harassment. So, madness. To appreciate these new breaking memes. Not being blocked by Richard Lewis just means you're a spy. You can go undercover and stalk his Twitter to tell everyone else who was blocked what's going on. Okay? It's just crazy, guys. Like, it's just crazy. Just look at all these tweets. But let me just show you, to give you some insight into the amount of people that wanted to get involved on this bandwagon so they could say they were part of something. And to be part of something, this happening, here's what you need to do. You need to pretend you don't know who I am, even if you do. You need to say that you have been blocked by me, regardless of whether or not if you have. And if you really want that authenticity, you have to spam me something abusive or pointless and clog up my Twitter feed so you can be blocked. And then you go back and you tell everybody, woo! We did it! We did it! I got blocked. And this is literally how they're rolling. It's insane. This is like beyond ironic as well. Like, Richard Lewis is a bit of nobody, said the actual bit of nobody that's tweeting endlessly about me because I blocked some people on Twitter. Okay, so why don't we take a look at the tweets that were sent to me? Okay, so these aren't just tweets about me. These are the people, okay, that actually decided to tweet at me over the past 48 hours. This is the type of shit that I'm getting sent on Twitter because I decided I didn't want my Twitter account to get false reported. So you can see, this is a good one. I do like this. You smell like wet cheese. Your mum smells like wet cheese. Your dad smells like wet cheese. Your sibling smells like wet cheese. Your friend smells like wet cheese. Thank you for reading my poem. Now, here's going to be the recurring theme. And again, remember, this is all signs of actual serious mental problems. People tweeting at me to tag me to say, hey, I'm feeling left out about not being blocked. Listen, guys, you don't have to tag me. You can tweet about me without tagging me. It's fine. I don't need to read your shit joke about how you're feeling left out. So you're going to see lots of that. You're going to see lots of block me. Just watch. Right, okay. Ignore the dancing minions. I don't even mind the dancing minions so much, I guess. That's fine. We'll scroll down, okay. This is... I also had somebody from Overwatch say that I was supporting neo-Nazis today because I tweeted out an Israeli player got banned because a racist, anti-Semitic guy who was making all sorts of terrible Holocaust jokes reported him, and I tweeted out saying, no one should have to put up with anti-Semitism, please unban this dude, face it. And she replied, first tweet I see from you is you supporting neo-Nazis. It's like, this is how you know how deep we're getting into, the fucking, like, dregs, the people that, like, need to be hit with heavy doses of lithium. And because how could you sit there, read a tweet that is me clearly saying nobody should have to put up with anti-Semitism, and then come out and go, listen, guys, you look at this guy supporting neo-Nazis up here. Last time I checked, I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe I don't know the exact fucking details, but I'm pretty sure the Nazis and the Jews, didn't they have a thing? Wasn't there some sort of beef there? I mean, you know, so the idea that decrying anti-Semitism and publicly saying anti-Semitism is vile, has no place in society, in the world, that makes me a neo-Nazi to these people. I don't even understand how you get there. But when you walk into something so deluded and addled that you believe the worst about a situation or a thing or a person, you just spin the narrative. Like, you don't even read, you don't even interact, you don't even engage. Okay, so let me just let me show you again. This is going to be a lot of scrolling, guys. You right. Play Overwatch is a great game. You've been blocking peeps, clowning. I literally have no clue who you are, but you seem like an incel. Can you block me? Where else? This is just this morning. Like, I was eating breakfast, and this is how much. Like, in the time it took me to have a Denny's Fit Slam, under 500 calories. This is what I got. Block me. This person, look, tweeted at me 4 times in a minute. You make me think of Broccoli Man. You put your finger in your ear and scratch, and it sounds like Pac-Man. Also retweeting your own tweets. Conspiracy sounds like something you're behind. Like 4 times in a minute. 4 times in a minute. And again, I'm not allowed to block these people. Apparently, if I block these, if I block these people, I'm evil. I should just allow them and just sit there with their dead, empty lives, just spamming my Twitter feed with shit. Apparently, that's the only solution. I'm not allowed. Oh, but you could mute them. I could, but then my followers can see the shit. So it doesn't remove it for them. So, you know, blocking them at least stops interaction, which is essentially what you want. Anyway, why aren't I blocked? Block me also, please. Hey, can you block me? I'm Steve the Hare on another alt. Why did you block me? Don't know what this even means. Women are property. I don't know why anyone sent that to me. Why'd you delete my tweets? Now I'm getting accused. Now I'm getting accused of deleting other people's tweets off the internet. Like, I have that power now. I have that power. I can delete other people's tweets. Like, it's... If you ever need someone else's tweet deleted, guys, just come to me. I got you covered, fam. I'm like, I'll delete it. Like, I'll use my power. It's what? Hey, can you block me? Block me, you freak. Richard Lewis is a massive weirdo. I heard you were blocking people. Can you add me to that list? Honestly, guys, you're gonna get bored of this material. I'm doing it all. Like, this is how it's gonna go. Right? I had to explain to some of these people why you retweet your own tweets, why that functionality exists. You know, because different followers from around the world are awake at different times of the day. So you retweet your tweet to put it back out on your feed like a few hours apart, and people don't understand it. These guys, imagine, because you see. Because they have nothing, because they're so over-invested in social media and video games, and in particular one video game and fandoms. What they do, you understand, is they just do a tweet and then they look at how many likes and retweets it gets, and they think those numbers matter. And then when they get above like, oh, this one banged because it got like 50 likes, they then reply with, this is my SoundCloud, or I don't have anything to promote, but hey, trans rights. And it's like, fuck it, you cringe ass motherfuckers. Like, you haven't made it, you know what I mean? You haven't made it just because you got 50 likes on a tweet, like. But that is honestly how they think about these things. So when they see me retweeting, you know, or anyone with a following retweeting their own tweet, they think I'm trying to fucking, you know, fuck with those numbers. Those numbers at the bottom mean nothing to me, by the way, because I actually have a following and I get sponsorships and I create content. The numbers that mean things to me are in the back end, in my analytics. You guys would know nothing about that, because you're fucking morons tweeting into the void, hoping for that one tweet that bangs, so you maybe get an additional 20 followers. So you can do maybe another tweet one day. Or, you know, put out your fucking empty views about Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Brilliant. Great, guys. Have at it. Have at it. But for real people with real followings, and people who actually care about the content they put out, right, you will need to use the Twitter functions that exist, and that does include occasionally having to retweet your tweet at different times a day. Hope this has served as a good primer on why that function exists, why Twitter put it in. Hope you can take that to the fucking bank, guys. And maybe one day, if you ever get to a point where you have a sizable following, you can thank me for that bit of information. I've just given you a critical bit of understanding. Go into your analytics, go into your data, look at your fan base. Mine's pretty much 50-50 split between US and Europe. So there's an 8-hour time difference. So I occasionally retweet things periodically over the course of a day to ensure all of my followers get served with the information I would like them to see. You can take that lesson 1, Richard Lewis, social media guru, and you can do something with it. Slowly becoming a meme in the community. Oh yeah, the Overwatch community was really welcoming of me, and always has been. You know, I think it's a manufactured esport. Kill him! Kill him! He's insulting the video game. I'm a Mercy main. Kill him! Speaking of that, do you remember, right? Do you remember when they fucking changed Mercy and everyone had a literal apoplexy on the internet? This is the audience that we're dealing with. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? They changed Mercy to work differently and everybody lost their minds. All the Mercy mains. This is a direct attack on women. That was actually something that was said. That was actually theories that was published. It's a direct attack on women. You know, Blizzard, that the majority of Mercy players are women, and you've attacked them directly by changing the character. These are the people that have been tweeting at me for 48 hours. These are the people that have been tweeting at me for 48 hours of mass psychosis. Right. So here we go. Can you block me? I feel left out. Such good material. Fight me, boomer. Right? You fucking stink, buddy. Oh, God. Another person there. Did you retweet your own post? Oh my God. Why can you, right, guys, why does what I do on my Twitter account, why is this a talking point for you all? Why is it a talking point? You don't get it, right? But you don't have to. It doesn't matter. Why? Why can I not just fucking, you know what I mean? Why can I not use my Twitter account as Twitter intends? Why is that too much of a problem for you? Why can't I block the occasional account using a Twitter function that it's designed for? Why can't I retweet the occasional tweet to my European fan base when I work on US hours because I live in the US? Why can I not do these things? Why are these things so problematic? It couldn't be that you just have a deranged, unhinged fixation on me, could it? It couldn't be that, because that would mean there would have to be some form of like, oh, I don't know, introspection, some kind of self-reflexivity. You'd have to like look internally and go, oh yeah, I'm the fucking dickhead. I'm the one with the problem. I'm actually like spending my time tweeting abuse at somebody for retweeting one of their own tweets. I should probably get my head looked at. You can't have that conversation with yourself. It's too real. So let's just double down. And even when it's explained to you, you just disappear off into the ether, you slither away, and you just don't take any of it in. It's fine. Can I be blocked, please? Okay, boomer. You're a poopy head. Block me, daddy. I play Overwatch and I feel left out that I wasn't blocked. Boomer, block me. Be gone, thought. Ayo, block me. Let's get blocked, let's get blocked. Hey, I want to be included. Can you block me too? Yo, I don't know, but can I be blocked too? Can you block me? Do you see the pattern? Guys, it keeps going on. Clown face. Could you do me a favor and block me? This is only 12 hours of this. Only 12 hours. Did you just retweet yourself? Another one. Ogre Watch. I mean, I kind of like that. I'm waiting the Ogre Arcana in Dota 2. Block me, please. I want to be a cool boy. This is, again, when you see these ironic tweets where it's like the lack of self-awareness is beyond. Everyone is living rent-free in your head right now. So, okay. Theory time. People I don't know exist, and I don't have any interest in, and don't follow on Twitter, and I'm being criticized for actively shutting myself off from. Everyone, again, because it's always everyone, they live in my head rent-free. All of those people that I don't know, and I don't know their names, their identities in lots of cases, nor care, our sole, sum total of all our interaction is going to be the one dumb tweet you send me, and then me hitting the block button, and then that's it. And I'll never think about you again. I'll never even know you exist. Never even know who you are. You will live. You will die, and I'll be none the wiser. You're living rent free in my head. The personality that you have collectively tweeted thousands of tweets about, for blocking 200. I'm not living rent-free in your head, though. I am not living rent-free in your head. And yes, I kicked the hornet's nest. You can see that one there. You kicked the hornet's nest for whatever reason. How did I do that? I blocked some people who were maliciously targeting my Twitter account. That's the hornet's nest that I kicked. I used the Twitter function for what it is for. And now you must deal with the public backlash. I mean, the public backlash so far is a bunch of unhinged people tweeting gibberish, both at me and about me. It's fine. We all know as well that you will eventually get bored and we'll go on to the next happening, whatever it might be, the next drama. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Far be it from me to say that there is some sort of weird element in the Overwatch community, but Dreamcasper's back streaming, by the way. You know, the guy who tried to push underage girls into sexual contact. You know, that guy. He's back streaming now. And no one's saying anything about it, evidently. He put out an apology, which was too fucking late, and it barely made a ripple. It barely made a ripple. Right? And yet, thousands of tweets about me, not a sexual predator, blocking people for threatening my life. I am the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I mean, again, your priorities are really good. Again, in the same way the FGC actively covered up for all the predators, you guys don't seem fazed at all in the Overwatch community about the ones that you've had in your midst. But you don't like the guy who tells you, maybe the viewing figures are manipulated a little bit. That's a capital crime. You know, harm towards children. We let that slide in Overwatch. We like that. We're progressive and open-minded here. We all make mistakes, second chances. Hey, guys, have you seen these viewing figures? Oh, my God! Overwatch is the most successful esport of all time. It's going to be the most successful esport of all time. It'll never die. It'll live on in our hearts, even if it dies, and it'll live forever. It has to. It has to. I'm a mercy main. Help me. Kill Richard Lewis. Burn him. That is not what we call a proportionate and sane response to those two people. Do you know what I mean? That is not a proportional response, is it, guys? That's actually what we call disproportionate. I think your priorities might be just a little bit fucking out of alignment. You know, it's okay. You've driven every reporter out of your space. So Activision Blizzard, you know, that company that you claim that you hate because they're all fucking on that Chinese tip right now. And basically, they have chosen tyranny and despotism over human freedom and dignity. You're actually going to turn a blind eye to all of that because you are addicted, whatever you want to call it, to the fucking community aspect of a fucking video game. And you're going to talk to me about principles. Yeah. I play... Oh, look at this one. Here's another example. A classic. Block me, I'm desperate. Please block me. For the love of God, fucking block me. I play Overwatch. Get Cobb is blocked. I disagree with your opinions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tweets inside a minute. Don't block them, Richard. You must tolerate them. You must let the crowd fling shit at you all day because you're a public figure. This is what you must deal with. You cannot block these people. Then, another group started spamming dumb gaming whore for a little bit. That was a thing. You forgot to block me, sis. Overwatch good, again, somebody we saw earlier. They never go away. They just keep doing it. Dumb gaming whore. Say dumb shit, get dumb responses. You reap what you sow, apparently. Again, the death threat apology groups are out in force. The mass spam of my Twitter account. You know, these are things I deserve for having outrageous opinions, apparently. These are things that I just deserve. Could you do a gamer a favor and block me? You block me on my main. Man, they all have backups as well. Like, but you know, they have about three to five Twitter accounts each. But don't worry, they're sane. These people are perfectly healthy. What else do we have? The dancing minions are back. I didn't even mind this one. Please love me. My little cat ears curl up when I see your name. Ooh, woo. I can get on board with that. Block me, pussy. Guys, look. I don't even want to... Pussy. N-word, block me. Can I get blocked? My friend did, and I feel left out. It's just mind-boggling. Just on it goes. On it goes. These are the worst. These are people like, you say to them like, look, can you block me? Honestly, I feel quite offended. And you're like, what? Do you realize how many morons have tweeted this same joke today? And they go, block me, boomer. It's like, fuck, please. There has to be some intelligent life out there. There has to be an intelligent life form out there in the Overwatch community. There has to be. There must be one. It cannot be like this. This was another good one. This person, this is another thing. Block me, you coward. Because it's cowardice to block people spamming your Twitter feed, apparently. Fucking hell. More dancing minions. Can I get a block? Boomer. Start blocking the Overwatch and League community. We saw that one already. Block me, no balls. Hey, can you block me too? Again, we're just going to keep on going. Block me. Yo, block me, son. Clowns. Bitch. You need a new job if all you do to keep yourself busy is reply to everyone on Twitter. I mean, no, actually, I've worked to a point where I can literally just sit and tweet, you know, all day. But okay, whatever. I definitely need to get a job that keeps me away from doing that. Apparently, that's the real sign of success. On it goes. On it goes. On it goes. On it goes. And on it goes. Where's my block? On it goes. There's the crazy guy that we saw earlier with the fucking spam. And on it goes. And remember, the funny part is, because I called this unhinged behavior, which it inarguably is. Well, actually, I didn't say it was unhinged. I said, this is definitely not unhinged. So it's sarcasm. But being sarcastic isn't the same as stating something unequivocally. But people don't seem to understand that, so whatever. It's probably a bit too much. For them to grasp. But because I said this was unhinged, I got accused of being ableist. Because you can't even say this is unhinged. You can't even... Look at this. Guys, look at how many of these tweets people have sent me in order to get blocked. Almost all of these are people asking to be blocked or insulting me in the hope that I will block them. Look. Look, this is it's just not even... It's not even close to over. We just got into the 15th again, guys. Just look at this. Look, it's still going on. Block me, please. Suck my dong. Block me, smelly boy. Why you block so many Overwatch players? Hey, can you block me, please? This is we're into day two of this now. Block me, please. I want to be part of the cool kids. This is the Overwatch community. This is again, this is all they have. You create something to be angry at, and then you all try and outdo each other in a bid to kind of be the most outraged about it. And you just do this for days and days and days, and this is what you do in lieu of there actually being something in your life that matters more. So it's not new behavior. I've obviously seen this a bunch of times. But look, what else happens? Well, obviously Reddit has to get involved, because why wouldn't Reddit be involved? And hang on, what I'm gonna do is, because I know these things have a tendency to strobe, so can I just do this? I'll archive it first. Oh no, but if I archive it, it'll be the shit version of Reddit, won't it? So we might just have to take a strobe on the chin, guys. We might have to take a classic XSplit strobe on the chin. Right. What do you think the Reddit thread was like about this? Because obviously it couldn't just be that this was hermetically sealed to Twitter. Absolutely not. It must spread as far and wide as possible. It has to spread as far as it can, with as many lies as possible, with as much ridiculousness as possible. So first of all, I want to point out, just while we're strobing here, he called it the Richard Lewis blockpocalypse. Surely a blockalypse. Surely you have to have the good sense to call it the blockalypse. Like, how do you miss that? There you go. The screen isn't flashing anymore, guys. Strobe's over. Open your eyes. You're safe. Right. So, the Richard Lewis blockpocalypse, the word... how do you miss a blockalypse? Unable to pun. Yeah, totally unacceptable. So, who do you have to follow to get blocked by him? So, a guy on Twitter wants to actually just get blocked by him. Again, like, can you imagine the madness? Hey, there's this guy blocking everyone on Twitter. Oh, shit, can I get blocked too? Blocks! Like, fuck, man. What is... Like, Jesus. They have this copy pasta about me in Overwatch as well. which they use quite a bit. Richard Lewis suddenly wakes up. I mean, keep in mind, to these, like, incels, everything's a copy pasta. Like, every time somebody insults me and I reply with an insult, they go, lol, that reads like a copy pasta. Your fucking bio on Twitter reads like a copy pasta. I can't believe it's fucking real. I can't believe that they're all the same. I can't believe that you think you're an individual while copying everybody else. But that's just the world we live in. No, and not everything I say is a fucking copy pasta, you fucking weirdo cunts. You know, haha, it's a copy pasta. What about your tweet? Is that not a copy pasta? Haha, you're mauled. Get blocked. I'm allowed to block people. Like, fuck me. Every interaction with these morons, it just reaffirms my absolute unwavering belief. The human experiment has failed. We need to start over. It is unbelievable the level we've got to now because of fucking social media and the internet and what it's done to the human mind. So anyway, Richard Lewis suddenly wakes up, a single thought racing through his mind, as if brought there by a greater power. Someone just enjoyed watching Overwatch, he shouts, now sitting straight up in his bed. But that couldn't be right. It didn't make sense. Overwatch is a bad game, and there's no way it could have fans. The word caused him to shiver slightly in the cold night air. Yes, not even the great Richard Lewis, heralded as the enlightened lord of esports, could ignore the truth any longer. There were fans of Overwatch, as objectively bad as Blizzard's franchising system was. But now, having finally accepted this harsh reality, Richard would devote himself to the pursuit of greatness unmatched by any of his colleagues. He would scour the vast archives of Twitter, looking for the ignorant statements of misguided sheep and expose them to the world. Truly, this is how he would sway the masses to his side. Now, first of all, I think this is a funny copy pasta and it's well written. So, because I can take a fucking joke. But what I'll say is, it does completely misrepresent anything I've said about Overwatch. I understand there's fans. Like, I get it. I've explained to you exactly why you are over-invested in this game, why you have a fandom. I totally understand it. Totally. It's manipulated, it's manufactured, but I totally get it. And I understand why it means so much to you. Listen, I was at a point where when this nonsense first started with the Overwatch League, I think I'm on record as having said, you know, it needs to succeed for the good holistically of esports. Now, fuck it, man. Like, I got a fucking, I just got that fucking, let's just ride it to the end mentality. Like, I want Overwatch now. If it fails and it completely collapses the industry, you know what? I'll actually be fine. So I don't give a fuck now. I don't give a fuck about anybody that's affected. Friends, fuck them. You know, you're on your own. Like, we got to pull the plug on this shit. It's encouraging too much fucking crazy shit. It's too wild. I'll be all right. Like, so, you know, now from a point of complete selfishness, I actually think it'd be good to watch Rome burn a little bit, actually. I can play the fiddle. I'm fine. So... but I never did believe that, and I'm not on record as saying that. It's just after 3.5 years of absolute nonsensical interactions like these, it's like it's hard not to want to see the fandom reduced to literal tears. When they turn around and go, yeah, well, kind of fucked it, kind of screwed the pooch on that one. Sorry, pulling the plug, because we're Activision Blizzard, and all we care about is unrelenting profit, I should say. Anyway. So, and also as well, like, I know there's no point in trying to sway any of you guys. What I don't understand is why you cannot cope with objective journalism. I never understood why. Every time I put a report out there, I have a 100% accuracy record. There's probably few journalists in the world in any line that have that kind of accuracy record. And yet I do, and yet every time you have to believe that I'm lying this time. This is the one where I pushed all my chips in the middle and made a story up or got it wrong. And you have to believe it. And you downvote it and go, he's lying. He hates Overwatch. I do not hate your game. I am incapable of hating video games. It's not fun to play for me, but that's about it. But it's a fucking video game. I have no real strong feelings one way or the other because it's a video game. It's not a game I play, but the idea that I'm so ass-pained about it existing, and I would delete Overwatch from the internet. Like, it's like those people who bang on Fortnite. You know, never me. It's like people who said mobile gaming. That's not real gaming. Never me. Never said any of these things. You play whatever the fuck you want, to in whatever capacity you want, to whatever degree of dedication you want. It's about you. I can recognize games I would never play as being good. Overwatch objectively isn't one of them. But the idea that, like, I know I would want to go around and be like, hey, I fucking hate this game and nobody else can enjoy it. Like, never said anything close to that. But whatever. But anyway, that isn't why we're in this thread. We are in this thread because of this absolute gem of a post. You see, because much like the crazy person that came into my Twitter feed and said, "Oh, look, he's saying anti-Semitism is bad. He's supporting neo-Nazis." I still don't understand how you get there. What people do is they have this preconceived idea of me, and the preconceived idea is that because I don't want to go along with prescribed lazy narratives. You know, I don't want to just go believe all women. No, sorry guys, believe evidence. You know, I'm an evidence-based guy. I've been a journalist for 2 decades. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, what, we throw all that out the fucking window and just believe any old shit? No, it has to be evidence, and I sympathize when there isn't any, and there's a chance that a predator or a bad person gets away with a heinous crime. But equally saying just believe allegations is so nightmarishly dystopian. I can't get on board with that, and I'm sorry that I've pointed that out on a few occasions, and I'm sorry I didn't get swept up in the Kavanaugh hysteria, and I'm sorry that we just have to ignore every time they have to correct that fucking story. I'm sorry I thought the Gillette advert was pretty much fucking embarrassing by just trying to say, like, hey, all men are fucking bad, deep down in their evil, like, bitter core of the hearts. I don't believe that either. I know there's bad people out there. I know that men do some terrible things, and specifically men are capable of some terrible things that only men specifically can be capable of. I understand these things because we are a fucking dimorphic species. I get this, okay? But the reality is, when you start, you know, when you start pushing out these lazy narratives, I am not along for that ride. I like evidence-based conclusions. That's who I am. And if you get ass pained about that, again, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't, like, maybe you've got a point on an emotive level, and maybe we can connect there. But let's be real. You're not interested in connecting. You're interested in only if I don't repeat the magical sentence you believe, if I don't repeat the dogma, you excommunicate me and you lie about me for the rest of my existence. Just as also as another aside, what people don't understand about the mob pile-on, what are they really trying to achieve? And we're going to get to this tomorrow when we start talking about how dark it actually got, because this is the fun stuff. This is the fun stuff. Tomorrow's stream will fucking blow you away. But what does the mob really want? When the mob comes for you and tweets at you and spams you and lies about you and abuses you and tries to hack you and do all this stuff, what do they really want? The mob wants to make you miserable, so miserable that you actually can't cope with existence anymore and you kill yourself. That's what they want every time. And they don't have the fucking balls to admit that's what they're angling for. When hundreds and thousands of people dogpile somebody publicly, that is the outcome they want. They realize that, like the reality TV that they have been weaned on to believe everybody's a star and everybody's important and everybody has like such an interesting personality and nobody's mediocre and everybody's a celebrity and everybody should have 15 minutes of celebrity. They believe all of this. What they cannot do in real life is they cannot vote you off. It doesn't matter how, like, especially if you're somebody who is independently employed, right? Or somebody who's successful, somebody who has money in the bank, someone who's not beholden to employers. So what they do is they try to make you miserable at your fundamental core. They take all of the things that they imagine upset you and hurt you, and they repeat them ad infinitum until strangers see them and repeat them, and it spreads like a virus. Ergo, somebody like me, where it actually hurts me to think that somebody would believe I'm a racist. It actually hurts me to think somebody might think I'm anti-gay or anti-trans or anti-woman or anti-whatever. It actually upsets me, and they know it upsets me. But they spread these lies because they think if I can upset him enough, Richard will go and neck himself. And that's what they want. And that's what the mob wants. When they come for you, it's what they want. When they go for Kevin Hart, it's what they want. It's what they want for everybody. They want to kill you, but not directly. They want you to do it, right? So that is what's happening now, right? That is what's happening. And that is why some of the lies I'm going to show you is deliberately contrived. And there's no evidence for them, and there never will be, but they will be repeated. They will always be repeated. So let's get into one of these lies. One of these lies that are designed, fight me, boomer. That's fine. You're just trying to annoy me. You're just trying to make me feel that I can't log into my Twitter account without it being a wall of shit. That's enough to tip some people over the edge, actually, because there are people with deep social media reliance. I've read about this extensively. I'm sorry, the stream's got serious for a minute. We'll get back to fucking jokes in a bit. But you have to understand this. Is a very real phenomenon that's actually going on, and everybody's susceptible to it. So listen to this. If this is the only part of the stream you pay any attention to, and it's not just a molding man ranting about Twitter comments or whatever, this is serious shit. Some people are so dependent on social media, and you might be able to recognize the signs of if it's happening to you, where you start basing your self-esteem based on things like Twitter engagement, but you're not a person who has to have Twitter engagement. You're just a person, like, for example, a YouTuber, right? And they get massively depressed if their video doesn't bang or the numbers aren't high enough. It really affects them because they've attached their self-esteem to the thing they do, and they look at the engagement and they think it is an endorsement of them as a human. And I see people doing this for just tweets or Instagram or Snapchat or, whatever it is, Facebook if you're a boomer, whatever social media posts they're putting out, they sit there and they monitor the likes and they monitor the comments and they go, oh my God, no one's commenting, no one's liking it, no one's retweeting it. What's wrong with me? Did I fuck up? Should I delete it? And they get stressed. So if they ever had a tweet that went out that was deemed cancelable, that it was actually, you can be cancelled off it, and it blew up and it was getting spread, and it was getting spread around the internet, and it's, every time they log in, 99 plus notifications, and you click on it and it's all abuse. I'm telling you, there are some people that kind of negative behavior would be enough to put them in a suicidal state of mind. That is an absolute fact. I've read about it. As I said, there's a book by John Ronson, a Liverpudlian journalist, called "You Have Been Publicly Shamed." Go read it. It is terrifying what happens to some people because of social media and the unlimited lengths that the mob will go to. Now, me, don't worry, guys. It's not a cry for help. I'm fine. I'm a stubborn prick. I always remember there was this guy in Port Talbot. We used to call him Butty. Now, obviously, everybody is called Butt. We call each other Butt. Hey, all right, Butt. It's all right, mate. But we had a guy in our village called Butty, and he was called Butty because if you ever saw him, he had a massive fucking scar down here, like a chib, the likes of which you've never seen on his face. And what happened was he got into a bar fight, and this guy held up a glass and was like, I'm going to fucking glass you. And he went and he headbutted the glass and smashed it and said, right, now what the fuck are you going to do? And he pounded that fucking guy. Buddy wouldn't take that shit. I am not fucking scared of your threats. I don't care if I end up fucking deformed. You're not going to win, right? That mindset, you got to take that into the internet a lot of the time. And if you can't, if you faint the heart, if you're not willing to fucking headbutt the fucking negative tweets and the lies and the bullshit out the way, you're going to have a bad fucking time. You're going to have a bad time, right? So that's me. So I'm all right. But I'm talking about you. Because this affects lots of people. This affects lots of people. And you have got to understand that every time the mob comes, that is their goal. They want to fucking, they want to get you to a point where you don't exist anymore, and then they get to walk away and say, well, we didn't do it. All I did was tweet one tweet. One of thousands, but all I did was that one tweet, so it's okay. That's how they go. And people can say, oh, cyberbullying, ha ha ha. Just cover your eyes, man, walk away from the screen. It is so ubiquitous, people can't walk away from the screen. That's the problem. If people could walk away from the screen, we'd be fine, but we can't. We're hooked in. We're hooked in. Our entire existences are on this screen. So how do you walk away from that? And it's only worse for the younger generation. Somebody like me who remembers the time before the internet, I'm not as juiced in. Kids who are literally being brought up with a mobile phone and an Insta account as soon as they hit fucking 13, these kids are going to have real tough times. Real tough times. And as I said, we are on the verge of a mental health crisis, as evidenced by the shit that goes on. People say, Richard, you're too flippant with the mental illness thing. I wish you would listen to me. Please listen to me. The mob basically crowdsourced, driving etiquette to the point that they did. Where, hey, he's just been released from a hospital. Why don't we have him on Drama Alert? Why don't we laugh at him? Why don't we poke fun? Why don't we say how not serious he is about it? He's dead now. He doesn't get to come back. Good job, everybody. But when I talk about it, oh, Richard, you're so disingenuous. No, it upsets me, actually, that you did that to a young man who can never be replaced. And you just move on and you find the next target, the next person to poke and push. It should sicken everybody that ever fucking tweeted at him during that time. But we tell the lies, we say what we gotta say to hurt people in their soul. That's what we want to do in that moment. He said something I disagree with. How can we do the maximum damage possible? And lies spread like wildfire on the internet. Lies spread like wildfire on the internet. What's that old saying? A lie has got halfway around the world before the truth has put its boots on. I can't remember who said it. Maybe Oscar Wilde. But it's so true. And it's truer now in a digital era than it ever was back in the day. So here's the lies that people like to hit me with. Because they know it goes to the core of my soul. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow with the blackmail. Feminists and SJWs choose to live in an echo chamber. Blocks anybody he disagrees with. This guy is a fucking clown. At least Thorin believes in true free speech. This guy is a delusional R-word, like he just looks up his own name and starts responding to anybody even remotely disagreeing with him. You'll notice I don't do that. I just correct lies about me on the internet, because if you leave lies unchecked, they're like bacteria and mold and cockroaches. It festers and it grows out of control. I had to deal for 2 years with lies that I drove a Redditor to suicide. I still deal with lies from 2015 about how I choke-slammed Loader and did all this crazy stuff. It's all lies. It's all provable lies, but they will never go away, and they don't go away because I didn't control the narrative, and that will never happen to me again. I will never allow that to happen again. You better believe you're telling a lie about me on the internet? Yeah, I'm fucking name-searching you. Yeah, I'm calling you out, because what the fuck are you lying about me in public for? It's not a disagreement. You are actively lying about me. You are smearing me. You are slandering me. You're doing it to other people. This is not acceptable behavior. Most of his responses are vile, and he retweets all of them, so his brain-dead followers start harassing that person. I have yet to see a single instance of provable harassment from anybody that follows me. And if I saw it, they'd be out of my community like that, because I am adamant that that behavior is unconscionable. You don't know who's on the other end of that social media account or how deeply it's going to affect them. Now, I've always said that. You'll never find me going, if I say, hey, look at this stupid thing this person said, I'm not saying go out and harass them for it. I'm saying this is the type of shit you have to see. It's dumb. We should correct it. That's all. Also, yes, he did help Maria, but that was years ago. He'd never do it now. He'd never do it if it were now. He'd probably just refuse to respect her pronouns. So, I just got back from a surgery with Maria where I literally, using some of you guys in the community, big fucking win, and taking extra jobs and doing all I could to, because I didn't want to rely on handouts and I didn't want to go to wealthy friends, and I wanted to do it myself because it was something I wanted to do for Maria. It was something I wanted to do with Maria. So in total, we raised $70,000 through my work and my savings and things like the No Majors Club and Twitch subs and everything else. And we went and we finally got the surgery we need so she can be happy in her own skin and not feel pain. And again, I'll probably not do anything better than that in my time in esports. And they know that, and that's why they lie. And the idea that I hate trans people or I'm transphobic, it doesn't chime. It doesn't stand up to any scrutiny. The idea that I secretly hate one of my best friends in the whole world, someone I think of as family, right? The idea that it's, you know, it's a outward shield, it's an outward lie. Where do these people get the nerve to say this and to lie about it in public? And people upvote it because it's what they want to hear. And sure, people corrected it. But look at these corrections, and look at how it's downvoted, and look at how nobody's paying attention to it. And then look at the top comment. And to be fair, they get to throw in an edit. Okay, I was wrong. Apparently he supports the LGBT community a lot, and that's good. But that doesn't, don't let that distract you from the fact he's just like those SJWs he complains about. Only his views are the opposite. I have made those SJWs I complain about. I've made 3 YouTube videos that talk about this. And it's not even a term I use anymore. I think it's kind of fallen out of fashion. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, actually. I think a lot of the people that talk about the social justice warrior, which was the nomenclature at the time in 2016, now it's become almost like a meme, and it's become too broad, and it doesn't really talk about the things that we need to talk about now. So I just don't use it. I don't use it. I don't call people snowflakes either. You can search on my Twitter. It is just not there. It's not really a word I use, and it never has been. I've been called one many times. I don't think I've ever called anyone it on Twitter or on my YouTube videos and my content. I don't think it's a very good descriptor for what is going on with these people. They're not snowflakes. The word snowflake kind of like was popularized by Fight Club and what's it called? Chuck Palahniuk's novel, because it's the idea that we're beautiful, special, and unique. It's not the and then it got subverted into meaning that you actually melt when there's a little bit of heat, and it kind of subverted what it meant. Now, the original meaning of snowflake, the idea that, you know, people think that they are unique and special in every way, that's an observable phenomenon that's going on. But the, you know, what we've got now, where it's used to like describe anybody that like, you know, you're criticizing me. I don't think that's a good descriptor at all. I don't think that's a very good descriptor at all for what it is, for that kind of like mass insecurity. But anyway, just a lie. It's just a lie. It's just a lie. It's just out there in public. Because I blocked 200 people on Overwatch, I'm a transphobe. I don't know how you get there, but they got there. So, okay, it couldn't get any worse than that, could it? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of other comments in this Reddit thread that are just ridiculous. You know, people saying he used a block bot. It was very simple. It wasn't, you know, there's no block bots being employed or whatever. You know, you just click a button and you block people's followers. That's all there is to it. And I did it for a handful of accounts. You can see here, he's also blocked a fuck ton of people with the FGC. It's you know, it's fine. This is the one where it gets pretty fucking wild. So let me just show you this. Oh, well, development's there. But we'll do the first bit. Because out of all of the vile lies that have been told about me in this crazy 48 hours, there's one that I just literally cannot believe actually was being said. So hang on, I just gotta find this. Difficult because they tweet they tweet endlessly, of course. I might just have to go off my tweet. Okay. So keep in mind, this person is a journalist. This person is a public figure. This isn't anything that I mean, this is actionable, okay? But this tweet is so stupefyingly hateful, so demonstrably false, so disgusting, and it doesn't even just target me. It targets Maria as well, and I just don't understand why you would want to do that if you're the good person. So this is that journalist I mentioned right at the start. Somebody pointed out what I'd done for Maria, and this is her reply. He's a trans girl chaser who white knights them and manipulates them like he does other women, and what about it? This is a journalist publicly saying that there's something sinister about me trying to help Maria and getting her out of a bad situation, and that not only is it sinister and it's sexual in nature, that I'm preying on her, but I'm also manipulating her. And this is a journalist saying this in public. And again, why is she saying this? First of all, because she got upset over my assertion that she was involved in a hit piece that was written about me on PC Games, and she still denies that to this day. I'd be willing to accept that maybe she didn't know the person who wrote it. There was definite dialogue about my supposed sins, and people wanted to get me before the Esports Journalist Award. They didn't want, they wanted to do as much damage to me as possible. And in that article, they said I was a man with a violent past. I don't even know what that means. To work in America on an exceptional person's visa, you pass one of the most rigorous background checks in the world. If I had a violent past, I wouldn't be allowed to live here. So it's potentially damaging. But anyway, the idea that that there's something sinister and sexual and predatory on what I try to do for Maria is it just beggars belief. And to say this because I have blocked some people on Twitter, I don't understand how anybody in good conscience could say I am the hateful person. Do you know what I mean? It is just ridiculous. I start to empathize a little bit with what happened to John towards the end of his life, and all the lies that were told about him and the way that he could never claw any credibility back in the eyes of the people that were relentlessly lying about him and attacking him no matter what he did. And it's just, that is literally what they're trying to do to me. That is literally what they want to do to me. I can't even pull a vulnerable person out of a bad situation, give them a life, help them get fixed so they're not in pain because of bad bungled surgeries that were done by someone who didn't care about their well-being because they wanted to use them for an esports team. And I have spent the last 3 years putting all my spare time into trying to help this person, and they think it's because I'm like secretly a pervert or something. And you can think that, I guess, but to publicly say it as a journalist, it's, I don't know, dudes. Like I honestly, it takes a lot to actually fucking rattle me to think that the lengths these people will go to. And then, as I said, man, I have another story to tell you guys, which I will save for tomorrow, which will blow your mind. Now, here's the interesting thing. While we're doing this stream, because apparently I am not allowed to talk about what's happening. I'm not allowed to talk about public figures. You can now see, now they're going to try and mass report my Twitch, because apparently talking about this is bad. You can see, someone let me know that the dude from yesterday is literally streaming himself and name searching his username on Twitter for all his followers to see. I'm not joking when I ask, can someone he doesn't hate check on this man? Did something happen? This seems like something else really awful waiting to happen. So now implying that I'm the dangerous one, and also openly admitting that she hates me for whatever reason she's concocted in her mind. Is this like reportable to Twitch? I'm pretty sure provoking harassment is at least like checking in with Twitch about. Again, where's the encouragement of harassment? Are people on the internet not publicly accountable for what they say on the internet? Because that's the standard you guys hold me to. So I'm not allowed to point out things that people say. We got a whole show where we do this. I've just openly said I will not have anything vaguely close to harassment in my community, and if I ever saw anybody doing it and I could figure out who they were and how they were tied to me, they'd be excommunicated. But you're a journalist, and you have lied about me, and the lie is vile. Is it not okay to, and you've done it for unbelievable reasons, is it not okay to criticize you for that? So I do not know. So it's not enough that my Twitter gets spammed. Now they're going to come for my Twitch, because I'm not allowed to have a platform to talk about people lying about me. Which, of course, brings me to the last bit I want to talk about while we're just talking about absolute insanity. And that was the situation with AnyKey. Where AnyKey basically... I mean, you are not going to believe it when you see it. So for those who don't know, AnyKey is an organization that is designed to like help support people that like get bullied, harassed on the internet, to have like safe spaces where you can come together, play the games without any of that shit. So let me just get to the various tweets that they put out, because it was just really weird. So that's one. So there was this from the AnyKey rep, which was like, what? I can't address this person directly because they have me blocked. This was her reaction to me putting out that tweet that we just looked at, where she accused me of being a sexual predator on my best friend in the whole world and somebody that I care about deeply. And then, this isn't any rep. He didn't at you. He's not about that life. So I replied, I'm so weirded out at an AnyKey rep behaving this way. You said you're against dopaling on Twitter, so why would it be a good thing to tag somebody you're criticizing? Also, Victoria blocked me some time ago so she can continue to tweet lies about me to her followers. No response. No response to that one. Okay, well. Then if we go back a little bit, I'll show you this. Again, AnyKey. This is like you know, am I not being harassed on the internet? Is that not what's happening? Because it looks like that's what's happening to me. But you know, what do I know? Man, there's so many fucking just nonsensical tweets here. In fact, actually, I know what's going to be quicker than this. So the initial tweet that like seemed to upset her was I tweeted out the person saying I was blocking all women on the internet, which of course isn't true, and the modus operandi of the block bot, or you know, whatever you want to call it, is all pretty clear. So the AnyKey representative responded to my tweet where I said, this person who's lying about me blocking all women is not at all unhinged and very happy with their life. And then she responded saying, here's the thing. So this is what I mean. By the way, all this like group blackmail stuff that's going on, trust me, I'm well aware of who's involved. Here's the thing. I don't expect all of us to get along on this here app, but calling folks unhinged just because they might not agree with you is cringy. The tweet says, Arlo is being so horrified by women in esports, he's blocked them all, is extremely funny. That is not a disagreement. That is, again, she is a journalist using her public platform to lie about me. This is something that just wouldn't pass muster like 10, 15 years ago. Journalists would lose their job over doing things like this. Not anymore, because the journalistic standards have just plummeted. Okay? But this isn't any key representative telling me that suggesting that this is a bit weird. I'm actually the bully. So I said, calling someone who has plucked a complete fabrication from their mind and then acting as if it's real and hinged seems like a textbook use of the word to me. Irrelevant, as I didn't call them unhinged, but reading isn't for everyone. And then she went, I can read just fine. I mean, I didn't call her unhinged, so you obviously can't. Didn't you have them blocked at one point? Again, monitoring who I do and don't block. Interesting. If you would have kept them blocked, you probably wouldn't have seen the crackpot theory to be bothered by it in the first place. So again, it is now an any key representative stance that the person tweeting lies about you and tweeting abuse to you, you should just block them and ignore them, and they're not doing anything, and they're actually not doing anything wrong. It's you who's doing something wrong if you choose to engage and reply. And then she said, it's not okay for anyone to abuse their platform in order to spread lies, intimidate, or dogpile. But you're not going to call this person out for doing it. And then she sent me a link here of the images. And then I replied with saying, so why are your tweets focused on me and not the journalist lying about me in public, prompting harassment from her followers? And keep in mind, I have proven now, haven't I, that I've been harassed by their followers? Have I not proven that with this stream today? Shouldn't you be supporting me? No answer to that. No answer. Any key does not stand with me, evidently. This is any key, of course. This is any key, an organization that got fucking trolled into complaining about ESL excluding trans people when it wasn't real. They made fools of themselves by not doing any research before jumping in and saying, oh, you know, gamers are evil. So, I brought it up again. I said, I would really like some clarification. I think this is reasonable. She's a representative for Any Any Key's partnered with Twitch. We had Any Key partnered at E-League. Any Key is meant to be there for any gamer, anybody who exists in a digital space. So I said, look, I'd appreciate some clarification as to why you didn't criticize the person engaging in the behavior you and Any Key supposedly abhor, but took time to make false statements about me. I'm a little confused about that. And she was putting words in my mouth. I never said the word abhor. So they don't even abhor when people lie and dogpile. They don't abhor it. It's okay sometimes. Moving on, because I don't want to discuss this ad nauseum, I personally think that there are other ways to solve a disagreement besides quote retweeting someone when you literally have 100 times their following, but that's just me. So again, I've been successful. I've built up a following. This means I have a different set of rules now. So it's if you are a small journalist, by comparison, it's okay for you to lie about people in public. If you're a big journalist, it's not okay for you to challenge those lies. Official Any Key representative talking here. If they were harassing you, as you say, so now completely disagreeing with the very clear evidence that I've been subject to harassment as a result of those lies. Why exacerbate the situation by retweeting to dogpile? Why not address it privately? Your tweet enticed your community to chime in, objectively lies, which they did, and mostly in a negative manner from what I read. I'm fine if we don't agree. Have a good day. So I said, well, why do you think people who lie about others are open to a friendly chat over a cup of tea? And why can their community, ones that include other journalists, chime in, but mine aren't allowed to? There's no answers for these things. There's no answer. The bottom line is, apparently what I was supposed to do, this is the official Any representative talking, what I'm supposed to do is when somebody lies about me on the internet, when somebody tells like unbelievable, outrageous lies to their following, and they're journalists and therefore have an ethical obligation to not lie, like that is just the bare minimum. To start as a journalist, you agree we're not gonna lie because people will obviously believe those lies because we're journalists and we're expected to tell the truth. So you mustn't lie. It's very dangerous. And I've shown you 2 journalists have lied about me. In relation, and again, to me blocking people on Twitter. This is a non-story. This shouldn't be in their minds, but it is because they hate it's esports awards time, and they don't want me to be nominated, and they don't want me to get positive attention, and they don't want me to be recognized. Before this drama, there was dozens of games journalists going, no, Richard Lewis nominated again. I guess you can be a piece of shit. It wouldn't matter, dude, if I'd been a fucking former fucking pirate out there raiding off the coast of Somalia, right, with a fucking eye patch and everything, and never got caught, and then came back and did some of the best fucking journalism in the space. Because that's what the award is for. It's not for, oh, does Richard Lewis pass the purity test? No, it's not about that. It is an assessment of my capability as a journalist, which turns out, no matter how much you want to stamp your feet and have a tantrum about it, is pretty fucking good. So let me get nominated for an award. Is that all right? Am I allowed to have that? Am I allowed? No, I'm not allowed, you see. Not allowed. You are a bad man. You don't believe in our dogmatic view of the world, so you are bad. We will do everything we can to destroy you. And Any Key support that. That is Any Key's official stance, according to one of their representatives. I just have to take it on the chin. So imagine a world where you, Any Key, an organization designed to look after people, tell a victim of internet harassment that they must go and quietly, privately talk to their harasser to try and resolve it. You would not say that to anybody. But you loathe me, and you can barely hide it, and you've got no reason to loathe me. You don't know me. But you have decided that I don't get the benefit of the doubt. You can't even remain professional and impartial enough.